Hello, my name is Nadia. I'll be your examiner today. Could you tell me your name, please?
My name is Jakub, but you can call me Jake.
Okay. So before we start, could I see your identification, please?
Yep, sure. Here we go.
Okay, thank you. All right, we are going to move on to part 1 of the test, which is the interview. I'm going to ask you some questions and please answer it as fully as you can. All right, let's talk about work. Have you ever worked before?
Yes, I have worked, I'm currently studying and working at the same time. Yeah, and I'm currently working as a web designer in a Korean company, and I also used to work before coming to Korea.
Okay, what was your first day at work like?
My first day at work was I was firstly hired as an intern, and it was very fun and interesting, but there was some challenges with my technical job duties, but I could go through it, and now it feels like more comfortable.
Okay, what responsibilities did you have at your work?
My responsibilities were mostly assisting head managers, department managers in production work, in some promotional things, and then I started getting more and more responsibilities. Yeah.
Okay, and what would you say was a typical day at your work like?
I usually start the day by looking at the project management software and seeing my duties for the day, and also then talking to my colleagues about the task we have to do, and then I attend meeting, and then we start the work.
Okay, let's talk about volunteer work. Have you done any volunteer work?
Yes, I did volunteer work, but it was on remote. So I helped some company back in my country. I helped a local company with the marketing campaigns, and I did some promotional things and some graphic design work.
Okay, and why did you decide to do volunteer work?
Firstly, I wanted to put my skills into practice and get some practical skills, and also I wanted to have some volunteering certificates so I can apply for some scholarships. Yeah.
All right, and do you know any volunteers?
Uh, a friend of mine, she's also enjoying volunteering, and she also does a lot of remote freelance volunteering.
Okay, and how would you define volunteer work?
I think it's important part of society. I mean, people should be able to do something without getting a reward, and just to help or just to promote others. And I think it's a very good thing to do.
Okay, thank you. That is the end of part 1. Now we are going to move on to part 2 of the test, where you will have to speak about a single topic. Okay. Please read this card I have put in front of you. You will have between 1 and 2 minutes to talk about the topic. Before speaking, you have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say. You can make some notes to help you if you wish. Your time starts now. Right, thank you. You can start speaking now.
Okay, so as I said earlier, I work as a web designer, and actually the art is my quite passion, and so I would definitely want to have some painting in my house in future. So uh, I think I would want to have some painting of nature with maybe horses as a in my home, because I love horses, and I also used to draw a lot in my childhood, and I used to draw nature a lot. So probably I would love to have that on my house, and I'm not quite sure about the pricing, but I know paintings like cost quite expensive, so it should probably cost me around $5,000 probably. That's my budget, like for painting. So, and I would love to have it in my like office, like in my home office, and so when I work, I can look at it and sometimes like refresh my mind and get some inspiration to do some artwork, you know. And so, and yeah, it's nice to, you know, have painting in your home, because it also makes the decor like more more beautiful and more cozy.
Okay. And would you say you like to visit art galleries?
Definitely, yeah. I love art galleries. I have been to art galleries in my childhood because I love art, and I'd love to visit art galleries. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That is the end of part 2. We are now going to move on to part 3 of the test, where we will talk more about the topic. So let's talk more about some arts. How do people in your country feel about art?
Our art, I would say, art is quite popular in my country.
Okay.
People love art, and we also have a lot of museums with art installations, with different paintings, and people usually, you know, families go for art galleries on weekends, and most of the art galleries and museums, they are actually like not that expensive, and most of them, the majority of them, are free of charge.
Wow.
So yeah, and I can say, yeah, overall I can say people love art in my country.
That's great. And would you say in your country people prefer music over art?
Well, it's a difficult question. I find it difficult to like get a correct answer. Probably it's like almost the same. I mean, they like both music and art, but if I have to choose one, I would say probably music, because you know, it gives you some joy. It's maybe much more interesting and funnier. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. What are some traditional art forms in your country?
Mostly it's paintings of usually different portrait paintings is quite popular, and also sculpture. And we have also a lot of ancient buildings that are decorated with handmade like artworks. Yeah.
Wow, okay. And how would you say art has changed over the past couple decades in your country?
Well, a lot of part of the art, I would say, have become digitalized a little bit in recent years because of like internet boom and all those technology side effects. And yeah, and it made it more convenient for people to explore art. But in other hand, it's not as good as seeing it, you know, in real life. Yeah.
All right, let's move away from art in your country and talk a little bit about art education.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think students should study art in school?
Yeah, I would say they should be taught art like at school, because it's also important skill in our like daily life, because art also helps people to think out of the box and express their their feelings, maybe their vision in other way.
Okay, thank you. And on top of that, how else do you think children could benefit from studying arts in school?
I think since I told it's another type of skill, art can help some children, express their potential, their their skill, because not everyone is good at math or some natural sciences. There are certainly there are students that can be much better, do well on art subjects. So that's why it's important to have them. Yeah.
All right, thank you. And do you think the government should provide support for art during school time?
Yeah, I would say yes, because since it's known, as far as I know, the artworks and art people, then they tend to not make that much amount of money, and so they definitely going to need some funding by the government. And in this way, I would say some kind of financial support should be provided for art.
Okay. Thank you. That is the end of our Ielts speaking test. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to ask you some post-test questions just to get an idea of how you felt about today's test. What are your overall feelings about today's test?
Well, I enjoyed the test. The questions were quite interesting, and I really like to have a chance to test my speaking abilities.
Okay, and what was the most difficult part for you?
Probably the first part, because I was still getting used to all the studio environment and also feeling maybe a bit nervous. But for the remaining parts, it was much better.
Okay, and what part did you find the easiest?
Probably the part 3, because since I said in the interview, like, I enjoy the art, it's something I know about, so it was much easier to respond to that question.
Okay, and what topics would you have preferred to come up in the test today?
I'll be honest, like, frankly speaking, I didn't do any preparation because I was quite busy with studies and work. So I think I still could do my best, even though I didn't prepare a lot.
All right, and what tips do you have for other test takers?
Maybe to prepare, to do a lot of preparation before coming, to try to answer some basic common questions. And also, I would say they should practice speaking in front of camera, which you don't really have on the IELTS exam, but here it puts maybe a little bit more pressure to you. So I would say they should try to practice that.
Okay. And what score band do you think you got today?
Well, it's very difficult to answer, like, from my point of view, but I could have done better, maybe. So probably for the next, like, exams, I will do better. But for this time, I don't really expect grade more than 7. It may be the 7 or would be the maximum. It should be around something between 5 and 7.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you too.